Hello, everybody. John Fulford here. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Free sound pack link in the description. My music Instagram link in the description. I have spent several $100s in the last couple weeks buying tracks from my YouTube audience. I'm here to pay you for tracks. So follow me on Instagram, email me musiclicensingpodcast@gmail.com, musiclicensingpodcast@gmail.com. Send me your links, send me your stuff. This video is about why your instrumentals suck. Well, wait a minute. I could phrase that more nicely. This video is about how you could make your instrumentals better than the other person's instrumentals, the other person that you're competing against for that budget, okay? Because here, what we do here, we want you to get money up front from libraries for your tracks. We're not doing these upload 100 tracks and forget it and sit and maybe get some money hopefully someday at some point. We don't do that. We want to get you paid for music up front. So here's a list of things that I made for you that you could do to make your instrumentals better, okay? Number one, they sound the same as everyone else's, okay? Why is that? We're all watching the same tutorials on YouTube. We're all reading the same articles on what plugins to use, on what sounds, etc., etc. So a lot of the tracks sound the same. They're arranged the same. There are some rules, of course, like sting out endings, which editors love. I wouldn't say to make a fade out ending to make your track unique. Keep with the sting out, but maybe start the track with the big section and then go into the lighter section of the track. A lot of people say you should build the track lighter to bigger. Maybe start bigger. Some of the most lucrative instrumentals in my library start with a 1-bar intro and then go right into the main theme of the track, okay? So try doing that. Try mixing things up. Don't let your tracks sound the same as everyone else's, okay? Let's have some uniqueness, but still fit. Don't do 5/4 time with a key change every measure. You could be too unique, okay? Especially in production music, but try to make your tracks not sound the same as everyone else's, okay? I've been getting that a lot. 2, they're thrown together, okay? You know in your heart if the track isn't mixed well. You know in your heart if the guitar is out of tune. You know in your heart if the sounds aren't very current sounding, etc., etc. Make sure they're not thrown together. Take the time, okay? Time is money in this case, all right? In most cases, but time is money. The more time you put into something, the better it should sound, as long as you're keeping up with your learning and trying to grow as a producer and make your songs and your instrumentals better as time goes on, right? 3, they're full of loops, okay? They're full of loops. Hold on. They're full of loops. Now I'm going to tell a brief story of something that I have firsthand knowledge of that happened in Hollywood. And people say, oh, that can't happen, man. It actually happened. I have firsthand knowledge of it. I wasn't involved in it, but I have firsthand knowledge of it, okay? 2 producers sent cues to a TV show, and they used the exact same loops in the exact same order, and they were each like one person had their name on the cue sheet, and this other producer was trying to say they made the beat. The head of music for the reality show company was also a musician, so he knows about Logic and Ableton, yada, yada. He had both producers actually send their sessions to the reality show company. They opened it up in one of the editing bays, and they found that both producers both used the same loops in like a little 10-second section. The same loops in the same order with the, no effects on them. They just dragged them in. They didn't make the tracks unique or take the time. So, they told the other producer, we got the cue from this producer, so he's getting paid. But, it was the exact same track because they used the exact same loops in the exact same order. If you do that, just don't watch my channel anymore. You are not going to make it, okay? I don't know what else to tell you. You could go start a pressure washing company, even though you probably do a crappy job pressure washing, and make 100 times more money than you will in music. You know? So that's just what it is. If it's full of loops, you can't do that. All right? Nowadays, the loops sound so good. Back in the day, these Apple loops, they sounded okay. Stylus RMX loops still littered on a lot of these shows. They sounded better, but these splice loops, they sound really, really great. So it's really easy to just throw them in your track and adjust them a little bit here, a little bit there, and say you wrote the track. Legally, even though there's been issues with that we'll get into in another video, you can do that. It's in the license agreement of Splice, but why would you want to do that? You're trying to build a brand for yourself. You're trying to build a name for yourself, right? Don't, have a friend play guitar. Have a friend play keyboard, right? Using loops, especially one-shots, you could download one-shots. Using a loop here or there is okay. It is what it is. A lot of the loops sound really great, but don't make a habit of filling your track to the brim with loops because you're trying to make 10 instrumentals in one day to send to some show. It's go buy a pressure washer, a gas-powered pressure washer with a Honda engine, and go up and down the block pressure washing for people. You'll make more money. Cut the loops. Okay. Oh, and here's another example I wrote down for you. Prime Loops made a West Coast sample pack. And at the time, I was looking for a West Coast style hip-hop instrumentals for an album I was doing, just as Prime Loops dropped this sample pack. So all these producers that I know that have a lot of credits sent me cues for this album, which I was paying for, and you hear the same organ in a lot of the songs. It's like, come on. What are you doing? It doesn't make good, long-lasting music. All right? That's what we're trying to do here. Get you paid on an ongoing basis. Right? On an ongoing basis. I just had a song I did 12 years ago become a theme song on Paramount Plus. And I did it 12 years ago. Okay? Why? Because I was following all the examples on what I'm telling you. And, there's a vocal. It was a song. But there's no loops in that song that I know of. I know some people worked on it, but I don't believe there was any loops or any, I adhered to these guidelines. Okay, fourth thing and most important reason why your instrumentals aren't getting enough play as they should. The fourth reason why your instrumentals sound bad, the fourth way you could make your instrumentals sound better is don't make them instrumentals. I keep telling y'all, and I get a lot of pushback. That's fine. Keep pushing back. I talk to sub-publishers every day. I talk to music supervisors every day. Instrumentals are being phased out. Why? The supply. It's like World War Z on these instrumentals. Okay, you ever see World War Z, the Brad Pitt movie? The guy bites the other guy, and then 10 seconds later, the other guy turns into a zombie and bites another guy. The supply is so large for instrumentals, unless there's like children's music, Christmas music, traditional Armenian, something really niche. If you make 10 future bass cues, there's already 100,000 that sound similar. They might not be future bass, but future pop volume 5, future bass volume 62. It's growing every day. You're fighting upstream. Okay, you're fighting upstream. So the instrumentals, I know you're doing them. I know you like doing them. I still do a very limited amount when a network tells me to do them. Okay, tells me to do them. But what do networks get excited about? Songs with vocals. So, slowly phase out doing instrumentals. It doesn't have to be overnight. It doesn't have to be in the next 6 months or the next year, 2023. But slowly and surely cut out your instrumentals. Okay, unless a network calls you or a library calls you. One guy I know was getting $1,500 per instrumental. Now, it's from a contact that he's known for a decade, but $1,500. Yeah, okay, instrumentals, I'm your guy. 1,500 a piece? Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do it. Look, I got my little guidelines here. Okay, they make them unique. Cool. 1,500, that's the record I've ever heard for an instrumental that a library purchased. Okay, I've gotten frequent licenses of instrumentals for little sync fees here and there, but 1,500 up front, work for hire for an instrumental, that's bonkers. If someone offers you that, do that. Okay, but $1,500 work for hire for a song is a lot more common. Not from me, obviously. I'm not a major library looking for some really unique thing, but that's a lot more frequent than $1,500 for an instrumental. Hey, I'm telling you this. If you push back, if you dig your heels in and say instrumentals, good, go ahead and do that. I'm trying to curate a community here of people that like getting paid for their music, that don't have to take a second job unless they want to for fun. That's what we're doing here, okay? Free sound pack in the description. Musiclicensingpodcast@gmail.com. This is John Fulford, and I'll see you next time.